including my audio. Chompy will kill me if I don't.
I swear to God.
Live
Include your
now.
audio.
Right, I'm going to listen to the podcast very quickly just to make sure I can hear myself, so that my audio is there.
Right. While Hunter is doing that, I think it's time we introduce
Okay,
the
I think
guests
it's
on the podcast, baby! Today, we have good old Rago on the podcast today.
Hello.
And joining us for a solid minute or two, we have Sonic Fan.
All I want is to be
193.
accepted.
You know what? Do we keep Sonic? I am on the menu. I am in the party chat. I am leaning over the kick button.
Sonic, if
you
this
give
is
me-
like,
you give
imagine
me
you're
the-
at death's
you give me the
door.
go ahead.
Imagine you're at death's door and this is your last chance to say something. What would you say?
What's your last words?
Trust these guys, man. These guys suck. I hate it here. They did.
Okay,
Alright,
cool.
Good last words.
Alright. Okay.
Kicked him. All right.
Sonic, our
That was
first
Sonic's-
returning guest. And now he's gone.
for a
And
solid
now he's
minute,
about
yep.
to turn into Mario
and now he's
fan.
gone. And now he's gone. That's just.
I
the
look
Vulcan
forward to
podcast
his
way I'd
message
like
in
to go
the
about
chat,
it.
hopefully.
Oh yeah, right. I'm gonna pull up the chat just because the last time I did this, Matt entered the chat and I didn't know him, and he was like, "Dude, you should not upload this podcast."
I
And
got
you
on,
did
like-
anyways.
I got on Halo
And
like
I did it
only-
anyways, and nobody got salty. There was no jump beef.
Apart
That's
from
crossfire, that's
no.
the next
Apart from
podcast.
Strafe saw. I think he quoted one of Swan's lines. He said, I think he quoted the line where Swan said, "If Vulcan was trapped in a house fire, I wouldn't go in and save him." And he quoted that. He quoted that, and then left the Discord.
Nah, but originally the people I wanted to bring on the podcast were Rog and Petrillo, because I wanted to have like a sort of calm down podcast after the interesting
Was it 2 weeks ago?
mess that was the Swan Trump.
gonna say.
Something like that. I don't
To
know.
two
think
or
it's-
three.
I
I can't
think
remember if
it's
it was 2 or
becoming-
3.
I know he wanted to do it weekly, Hunter, but I think it's kind of becoming a bi-weekly thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although
then
what
maybe
we're gonna
less.
do.
That's
with
just
your
because of our
college coming
schedules,
up.
though.
Yeah, what we're gonna do
That's because of
after
our
that,
schedules.
I'm hoping that you can find a way to get everything set up, so because you can still get into Xbox Game Bar via your PC.
Right, I can
so you
use my
could-
computer, yeah.
I'd hope that this podcast could actually continue via that. Obviously, again, it wouldn't be every week, but
Right.
it'd be cool
Just
to
every
do it.
so often.
Yeah, it'd be cool to
Good-
do it
yeah.
every
good
so often.
Bald podcast.
Or use
here and there.
like Discord voice chat.
Did
That's
Booker
also
change
a
his
possibility.
gamer tag?
Yeah, we could use Discord.
Can you
That's
record
true.
through Discord? Or can you stream through Discord?
Yes.
We
I
could
have
do
a
what,
software on my computer that can record
Is Rob
Discord
going to
audio.
become Chumpy's podcast editor?
He could help me figure out how to do it, and then
Yeah.
I could do it myself. Yeah. No, there's a lot of hope for this podcast. Like, that's the one thing that I want to continue is this podcast, and there's a few other concepts I have in mind. When I go, like, I have a Tournament 15. I have a quick sponsor, a Tournament
fine.
15 premiering.
Thought you said
this
50 for a
weekend,
moment.
on the
That'd be
Halo
something.
Sasuke channel,
Coming
which is gonna be pretty
a
great.
week today, I believe.
Saturday, yep, next Saturday. Next, I can speak, guys. Saturday next week, which is going to be, without a doubt, the greatest Chumpy premiere of all time. I actually haven't done
And if
the
you're not
commentary
there,
for it
you're a
yet,
sussy baka.
but I've done, yeah, I haven't done the commentary for it yet, but I've done literally everything else, and it's like editing-wise, like the best tournament I've ever edited. And that is something I plan on holding with me.
Until
that.
Susan takes it down, of course.
Yeah. And and then I'm gonna go to college, and then I have a few concepts in mind, like the podcast continuing. That's a plan. The other thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a lot more of a countdown type video for Halo Sasuke.
Nice.
Like, my first concept is a top 15 Halo Sasuke tournaments,
Yeah.
which will be pretty great.
Do you still have all the
Because
footage of the
I
tournaments on your
will
computer?
definitely, whenever I do that countdown video, I will say, number 15,
Oh, God.
oh god.
tournament Probably 12.
Did Booker change his gamer tag or something? I can't like see him on my friends
Is it
list.
still L Booker Taco?
Is it L? Is that why I can't see him?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I'm trying to
also
find
like
this.
Rock,
Oh, here it is. Yeah, I found it.
After that quick scuffed sponsorship of myself, how are you doing today, Rock?
I'm doing fantastic.
So, Rock, the reason why I brought you on is because I feel like me and a lot of my friends, we like to have our, like my jump host friends, you know, the Flames of the world,
Yeah.
the Irishes of the world, Weapon Mats of the world. He's not really trying to go big, though. He's just kind of running a course, from what I understand. We're trying to, you know, make our way. We're trying to become the next big thing in jumping, you know.
Right.
And I feel like there's nobody in jumping that had to, like, you know, work hosting wise for popularity quite like yours did.
Mm-hmm.
So, tell me about what it was like in the early days of jumping and trying to figure out how to gain some traction in the Spartan Sasuke.
So I think starting off, like, I didn't get into Halo until much later compared to most people in the community. I'd say a lot of people at the time, you know, were playing back when Halo 3 and Halo Reach were out on the 360. I did not have a 360 back then, and so, but I was just starting to get into this thing called Ninja Warrior. You know, I was watching it on A&W on NBC, and then I found Sasuke through that. So I was just looking for YouTube, finding some cool things. And then I think the UK show was just starting up around the same time. So I was
2015.
Yep, 2015. And then I found the first episode on this guy's channel named Extreme UK Gaming. So I looked to see if he had more of the episodes on his channel. And then I find this little thing called Ninja Warrior Halo Tournament 14, Episode 7. And then my life changed forever.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie,
dude.
Because I was going to suggest, like, we should start from the very beginning in terms of a jumping routes for Rog, which is actually a concept we could do for future podcasts, actually. But when he started talking about the UK, I don't think I ever once, like, because I knew Rog first got into jumping through my channel. I don't think at any point I ever realised that it was because I went on the UK show. So technically, you could argue that the onesie is the reason Rog is here.
Yep. So the onesie.
The onesie. Is that a onesie? He's
The onesie that
gone?
got Rog into jumping.
The onesie.
Without the
Was it
onesie,
actually a
Spartan
onesie?
Sasuke wouldn't be here. It was not a onesie. I've
Yeah,
definitely
Lego
talked about
Sasuke would
this.
probably still be going on. We'd probably be on like tournament 30 by now.
I'm so mentioning that in the next Spartan Sasuke tournament to be hosted is probably going to be the first Infinite. So I'm saying that in my interview. It's like, it's crazy, you know, this course going on to its second game, and it all started because of a guy in a onesie.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have plenty more to say
dude.
about that later on in the podcast, but
It was
let's just stick to the early days.
It was not a onesie. My mum, about 2 weeks before the show, well, before I was about to travel up for the show, said to me, "What are you going to wear on the telly?" And I was like, "I don't know, just a t-shirt and some joggers or something." And she was like, "You are not appearing on TV wearing," and she asked me the question and then brought this, like, she didn't give a shit what I was gonna say, because she already had her stuff. Like, she'd already bought this stuff for me. So, "You're gonna wear this," and it was literally like, it was a sports. It was leggings, but like sports leggings that like some athletes wear, I guess sometimes.
Right.
And then a similar thing on top, but you can't call the top half leggings, obviously.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a onesie at first.
But I
glance.
still wear that stuff. I still wear stuff like that when I compete in comms. I don't wear the top half in the summer, if I'm doing competitions in the summer, because it's too hot and I'll burn to death. But I still wear leggings when I do like almost any kind of sports stuff, because I don't like running in joggers and I don't like wearing shorts. I still wear shorts, but like I'm not a fan of showing off my legs. I'm not a bare legs kind of guy. I only wear shorts. I only wear shorts, bare legs in the house and nowhere else.
Rog, how does it feel to, according to the kids of the Discord have a more successful show than Ninja Warrior UK?
Feels fantastic, I guess.
A lot less
At least
drama,
I didn't
apparently.
take 3 years.
What even is that
to
drama
do
about?
another
I'm not gonna
season.
lie. I'm not gonna lie. Whenever those kids were talking about like the drama of Ninja Warrior UK, I was like, dude, what?
Is this everything from yesterday?
It went straight over my head. Straight over my
Is
head.
this the stuff from
Hashtag
yesterday?
What even does it mean? Yeah. What drama is going on in the UK?
Nothing. It's these kids who think they know stuff and they don't know. In fact, it's not even kids. It's literally one person who apparently it was mentioned in another Discord. Vulcan apparently, and this is true because I actually saw the Facebook comment. The Ninja Warrior UK Facebook page put up an apology. Crap went down in the final, so I've just come back from that incidentally. I think I mentioned it on a previous podcast. I was out for 5 days on holiday.
Yeah.
I turned it into a little holiday. And the last day was the grand final. But the way the 4 previous days worked is that it was 2 filming sessions, so they had 2 different audiences, and swapped the audiences out. But the reason it didn't work on the last day is because there wasn't enough stuff to film. The final was literally 8 runs, or 8 races, because they're doing race formats for this series. And then the grand finals, which was 2 rope climb races. But the problem was, that's not enough races to justify having 2 separate audiences. So the first audience saw the 8 races, and then the only thing the second audience saw was the final climbs, which was essentially the final stages. And people argued, or people complained online that wasn't worth. It wasn't worth the wait, because you have to wait hours. You have to wait hours in the queue, and then you have to wait like an hour once you're in there before anything actually starts to happen. And it was an extremely hot day. The tickets were free, but obviously people, if you don't live in Manchester, you would have paid like for travel and stuff to get there. To see not very much. So I can understand it. Vulcan was very funny because he replied to some random woman who commented on the Facebook post about the apology, and this woman said, "Yeah, we travelled like an hour and a half and we saw almost nothing. My kid was really excited and left like crying, blah blah blah."
Oof.
And Vulcan replies to it saying, "You sound like you expected to see like the whole thing," and it actually led to like a Facebook argument. And it was kind of funny.
Oh no, Facebook mom's angry.
Oh
no.
Anyways.
Oh no.
I hope, by the way, sorry, I hope that's not spoilers. If ITV see this podcast for whatever reason, I hope I don't get banned from the UK scene.
I'm putting it in the thumbnail.
I hope the UK. I hope I don't get banned from the UK TV scene for that, for those spoilers.
Hey.
Oh no.
We'll have room for you here in the States. Don't worry, Hunter.
Hey, you want to come to A&W where we talk about keeping those L's?
But you guys just can't find a proper winner that will stick.
Well, yeah, is like the only winner that was like semi-good of a guy.
Got like
Jeff Britton
$0.
in A&W. And he didn't even get the money.
Didn't get the
Because he was
money, and
slow
as
on the
far as
rope.
I
Just
know,
didn't
didn't
get
get any
anything.
sort of recognition either.
Yeah, even though he
No,
completed
because-
all the stages. I'm pretty sure he hit every buzzer that season as well.
That's wild. Because of who ended up being the 2 people that did get $1 million.
Yeah. That's just
Got awkward.
So yeah,
Anyways,
speaking of
RIP season
2015,
7.
So go back to
that's
the
kind
roots.
of how I got into Halo jumping. I don't know if I told you about how I got into Halo specifically. Did I tell you that?
Yeah, how'd that happen?
So yeah, it was just some random computer lab during junior year of high school, and they set up this Halo Combat Evolved LAN, and I played Halo for the first time there. It took me a while to get into the franchise, but eventually later on I installed, I think, CE into like the PC ports of those games. I installed those onto my laptop, and I played through the campaigns of those, which I had my fun with.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You want to know what me and Rog here have in common? Is I don't even know. Have I told you this, Hunter? You're actually the first jumping channel that I found, as well. I don't know how I stumbled upon it. I think I was just searching stuff.
Did
on
you
YouTube where
I feel
was
like I vaguely recall you might have left a comment in the Tournament 15 video asking if you could compete. I don't know if...
And by that point, you were on like Tournament 17. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that wholeheartedly, because I was still playing Xbox on the 360.
Yeah, you had
and
Halo
Nova 1 was
4.
already out.
I think you did.
I had Halo
Yeah,
4.
you might have asked if you could be in 16, and I was like, 16 has already happened, but you didn't.
Yeah. No, and like, I had to get a Xbox One, and when I did, I showed up to Smokey's course, because I found him through you, obviously, and then I didn't qualify.
Oof.
Waste of a bit of money. But then I decided to stay, obviously, and
Yeah.
become a sweaty bastard. But
Hey, and it's led to
Not
that
on
great
Hunter's
story.
course.
It's led to that great story that's been told in like every tournament of Smokey's ever since. It's the
yeah,
same
the
profile,
one who didn't qualify.
almost the same clips as well. Every tournament.
I mean, if I'm saving Smokey time, I'm saving Smokey time. I
Yeah.
don't care. I know how long it takes to edit.
He's definitely told me often enough, like, it's annoying for him because he has, and I suppose I have the same problem with him as well, the other way around. But he always tells me how, like, he knows he obviously has to give me a profile every tournament, and he always has to think outside the box with new stuff to try and use every tournament.
I mean, kudos to him.
Right. No, Smokey, by far, I feel like, now that I have literally the two main course hosts right now that are not Smokey, I will say directly, Smokey runs the best course right now. I want to make that abundantly clear.
No, I can't disagree with that.
Just saying, he runs the best course right now, and people like Puma want to give him shit for like having moving obstacles and stuff, and that gives me a headache. But
I mean, rolling balls
No,
are considered moving
it's
objects.
by far the best course. Like, editing looks so clean. I took some inspiration on my 15 from stuff that Smokey does.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't do runs to look out for type thing before Smokey did it in his recent tournament.
It's just funny, I was just talking to you about that.
Just things like that. Like, just things like that
the small little
I'm
things
trying to
that
get-
add on to it.
I'm trying to take like the positive things that course hosts do and use it to like inspire me to do something good myself. Like combine it all together and make a really good project, which I
Yeah.
think I've done for 15, except for
looking
the
forward to
commentary
it.
I have not done yet.
The one thing where maybe Smokey's always lacked, and he himself would admit this, is maybe like my I feel like my commentary is still like out of any course is still the best. And that's the one thing I got over Smokey. And Smokey has admitted, like, if you go and watch any of like his first 16 tournaments, he'd tell you he hates them. He'd tell you he absolutely hates listening to them, and he can't go back and watch them. I think they got I think they got better from the MCC onwards, but he still bumps in the MCC ones as well. But you can tell.
Yeah, definitely.
No, yeah, absolutely. And I think that ROG also is kind of like a best of both worlds thing, where he has kind of like the
I could say
the
the same
Smokey-esque
thing
editing
that Smokey
style.
says about his early tournaments. Like, I hated my old commentary.
Oh, dude, my old commentary gives me headaches. I watched through all my tournaments because I've been writing out a script for a top 15 Halo Sasuke's, so I watched through them all. And there's nothing that gave me a headache more than my freaking early tournament commentary of he's on to the
time jump.
triple hole. He's on to the hole in
The
the wall.
time jump.
He's on the Jimmy Neutron. He's rolling.
Got a blast.
Oh my god, he cleared. Rog cleared once again.
It actually
No,
did decent in
and-
those early tournaments. And, I was getting to stage 3 a couple of times. I think I got to
It's
stage 3
definitely-
one more
yeah.
time after that.
Rog
Senior
used to be the
festival.
guy, and then he left for a bit, and then became
Yeah.
very much not the guy.
Well, real life happens.
Right. No.
I obviously did at the start of the year that like episodes thing for my course, where like because at the start of this year it was 10 years since the first episode went out, and I did like a best moment from each episode. So I also would have had to have gone back and watched every episode that I ever released.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Now, I'm not the same as you, Rog and Smokey, in that I went back and watched it and thought, God, this was awful. It was not great, but I didn't listen to it thinking it was shockingly bad. I thought it was a bit boring, but I made up for it by having like these occasional jokes in there, which is
Hunter's commentary, like your tournaments held up enough to where I could want to sit and watch them, like 12-year-old chump.
one thing that
So
Swan
he
and
gets the job done.
Swan has always said to me that the one thing, because him and I, like forever ago, years ago, did like a marathon of my whole course. I don't know if that was Swan, like, so that he could like know everything about my show, or if because he'd never watched it before. But he did say to me the one thing about the old stuff was like the quantity of episodes. Like it's a long burn to watch. Like tournament 16 is the longest tournament because there were 8 episodes to get through.
Oh yeah.
So it was like a long burn to watch them all. But yeah, I feel like I've always had like the ability to say like a joke or something is the thing. That's the one thing that helps my old commentary stand up, even though most of it is a whisper.
Whisper scream ninja.
That's
of Halo.
If I want to say one thing that I hate about the old ones, it's not the commentary. It's the fact that arguably my favorite moment in the history of my course, which is Ree's total victory, is botched by whisper commentary.
Oh, dude, that's the same way for me. Like for Matt's win in tournament 8, it was freaking whispers, dude. It was all whispers. I was like, it's cringe. Dude, tournament 8 was such a good tournament that was ruined by kind of poor commentary.
Dude, I used to like always like yell, even in my old commentaries. Like I'll still do it in my newer ones, but back then, like, I mean, I'd say it was pretty cringy, especially like still victory. Like it's basically become the commentary. It's basically become a meme at this point. It's like yes, he's done it. Double up.
It's like it's a weird balance between over yelling and like whisper screaming. You know.
I mean, I'm
like
still guilty
like
of that.
it's a
Don't
weird
get me
sweet
wrong,
spot.
but I feel like I've gotten much better at controlling it. Only really
This is the
reserving
reason
it for
why-
like big shocking fails or like big successes.
Yeah, Swan's success in
reason
the
why
last tournament was one of those moments. You could just tell Rog's commentary. He was so happy for Swan.
Yeah.
In that commentary.
Yeah, 4-year
Swanee,
gap
we
between
love Swan.
players. It was huge.
That's
Swan was on the podcast.
that's why like I mean, aside from the obvious, I always love go and rewatch my tournament 22 stage 1 run on Smokey's course because his commentary, aside from it being obviously a great moment for me, and you know, watching myself do good again, I always know that like from listening to Smokey's commentary, especially when it gets to the end, like he's saying that, like he's so excited and he's so happy, but he's saying it because he's my buddy. I've known him for like almost 10 years now.
Right.
And so he's
been
happy.
more than 10 years now.
Well, yeah, so it's over 10 years, yeah, since I first.
God, you guys are old.
Smokey's, I don't have many people that I would actually call like friends, like proper friends on Xbox, but Smokey is definitely one of them.
Let's be real, Hunter. We're best pals, right? Best pals. We're not there yet.
I have levels. I have like friends, mates, and then there's stuff that's somewhere in the middle. And I think you're in the middle, Trumpy. You're not a mate, but
Yeah.
I don't think you're up to like the friends level.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
It's hard
That
to
is a
really
good
say
thing.
friends, because like apart from one person in the jumping community, I've not met any of y'all in person.
Is that Flame?
Oh yeah, didn't you be
Yep,
Flame? Yeah.
Flame was sourced.
At
We
a
met in a
convention
Halo convention.
or something.
Outpost Discovery, it was the one-off.
The best part about everything is like Swan's like 40 minutes away from me. I very well could have, but I refuse. I gotta be honest. I refuse.
Yeah.
I love Swan, great guy. That man scares me.
Is it
So,
the beard? Oh, he doesn't have it anymore,
He
does he?
shaved the mustache. He shaved the mustache
That's,
too. Apparently. I don't know. It just. I just don't want to like. I gotta be honest. Don't want to meet you guys. It's just not on my to-do list.
you remember like a few
It's
years ago
alright,
before
Shelby. I
COVID?
won't beat you up.
You remember a few
few
years
years
ago
ago
before COVID was a thing, and we all jokingly was like, why doesn't someone just like hire out a mansion and we all have a jumpers party and we all come from from everywhere and just have a big
Oh
party?
my god.
Yeah.
I would. I'd go to that. I'd go to that.
Dude, same.
No, I think at one point even like Fireball and Matt and I were talking about doing something like
Yeah.
that, but we just never did.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry,
Yeah,
we
no.
kind of drifted off. We were still talking about routes. So you found out about Halo jumping through me, then you started your course up.
Yeah.
And I think where Chumpy was going with it was like how the course sort of like grew.
Yeah.
In its early days.
Mm-hmm. I think in those early days, I was just doing it for fun, just this fun little thing I do once every 2 months, It, as many people as I could to show up, put them on my channel. It was kind of
And you
the
had
same
definitely-
philosophy I had for the old Lido Sasuke's. I think the biggest difference between those two is that, like, with jumping, I obviously didn't have really any control over the results. Like, but with Lido Sasuke, I basically knew in my head everything that would happen, which kind of made it boring. So I wanted to move on from that and really do something on a much bigger scale.
Yeah.
I was going to
No,
say the most
I,
obvious thing was that with Spartan Sasuke, there were real people instead of
Yeah.
instead of
You know what my favorite honest tournament of yours is, Rog? Like results, commentary, everything put together.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna sound biased as hell.
you're going to say
Right.
I just want
19,
to make it
aren't you?
abundantly clear. I'm gonna say 19, but it's gonna.
Yeah.
I have
I don't blame you.
good evidence. Obviously, the success of me being first place, I won't lie, that's part of it. But what I really like is that I feel like your commentary exceeds that in 19, even from where you were in 18.
Oh,
You know what
yeah.
I mean, like, I feel like you were still doing the really loud stuff in 18, but I feel like you really found a better balance in 19.
19.
Obviously, the reason why I don't like 20 and beyond is because the results were a little bit less good, I think, in those tournaments.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say
I-
they're still very successful. But, I mean, I get what you're saying.
like with Flame and Pedro,
Yeah.
obviously, and Joey, and getting real close.
Yeah.
Joey's run in, was it 22?
21.
21.
21.
Dude.
Joey's run in 21 might be one of my favorite runs I've ever watched on your course.
Yeah.
I won't lie.
Just the
wallet
final
was nervous
specifically?
that day.
Yeah. No, just in general.
Oh, the whole tournament.
I
Yeah.
love that Joey run. I'm surprised he didn't win. Like, the fact that it was that close.
Yeah. I mean, he did not make
And he
any
was going
mistakes.
so fast.
I mean, he was
Like, I feel like
going
that's
at a
the best
relatively good
final-
pace, but that just comes to show just how tough that final stage
Like, he didn't
truly
even
is.
make it, and I still legitimately think that is the best final run you've ever had in your course because of how hard that stage is.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, no one had even gotten past the salmon ladder at that point. He obviously couldn't see anyone even attempt the last obstacle, so he's kind of going
Alright.
into that blind. He has to kind of figure it out as he's going up the tower.
You know what? Okay, so I told you what my favorite tournament was. You know what my favorite video is on your channel?
Is it the Fireball
Favorite
Rage Quit?
video. It's not that one. We've all seen the freaking. We've all seen the videos of kids raging on Xbox.
Lido Sasuke
At that
GS2?
Dude, it's the one where it's the April Fool's parody where Tails talks about having a big dick.
Yes, I was going to say that. It's been 15 months. It's been so long. I grew up.
There's actually
I
belly
freaking
button.
love that video. I freaking love that video. So
No,
you, do
like,
you still
the
have
thing-
the Legos?
I still have them, but they're shelved away. Like, I don't know where they're at, but they're somewhere in this house. But, I mean,
I love that
I'll
video
probably
so
end up
much.
donating
It's
them
so
one
great.
day.
My
Yeah.
my childhood thing that I still have them, but like I don't know. I don't use them, and if I did do anything, it would be online now. As I have like a shit ton of Yu-Gi-Oh cards from when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Friend
They're
group.
still probably somewhere in my bedroom, but I've got no idea where they are.
Yeah, I have a friend group in real life that often plays Yu-Gi-Oh. Have you ever heard of Simo's channel?
I'll be honest with you.
I've
Me and Rog also have an interest in Yu-Gi-Oh through a certain YouTube channel which
Little
like does
Karibo.
joke videos about them.
Yeah, he'll
yeah.
take like
So
the
we-
Yu-Gi-Oh show and like dub over the footage with his own audio.
He's been doing it for like 15 years, maybe even longer than
More
that. He
than
has
that.
like so
Wow.
actually, you know what? You think my upload schedule's bad, Chumpy? Little Karibo's is the worst, but he has a legit reason for it. He has like
Yeah.
appalling health problems.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
To the point that anytime a video goes up on his channel, he gets nothing but love in the comments. Like, hey,
Yeah.
so glad you're back. So it's great to see a new video out.
And
I hope
then
you're good,
wait
all that
another
stuff.
2 years for the next one.
That's
Yeah.
cool. I love that.
Dude, Little
That's what
Karibo's
people are gonna
cool.
be
That's
saying about me
ultimately
whenever
what
I leave
got
for
me
college.
into like watching the Yu-Gi-Oh show in the first place. I think all the episodes on Crunchyroll, and I just sat down and binged all of it.
Yeah, I only got into Yu-Gi-Oh! The card game. We're going way off course, so we'll wrap it up in a minute. But I only got into Yu-Gi-Oh! The card game from randomly seeing an episode of it on the TV in what must have been like the early 2000s. And it wasn't even me watching it. I walked into the room and my two brothers were watching an episode, and it looked kind of cool. And
Nice.
then by the time I was about 11 or 12, I just started high school, and people were playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And
It's pretty young
yeah,
for
I
high
started
school.
playing it.
I had very different high school experiences if they were playing Yu-Gi-Oh! in your high school. I gotta be honest, did not see that much.
I mean, I think
What
I've
were we
like done
talking
a
about
pod. I
before
think
we-
I've done like a. I think when we did the Spider-Man podcast on my channel, I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In the podcast because I was
Oh,
finished play. I was playing Infinite for the first half of the recording, and then I
Yeah.
got bored and decided to play something else. And I was like, oh, I've got Yu-Gi-Oh! A Yu-Gi-Oh! Game downloaded. I'll play that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Freaking Infinite, dude.
I think another
grew up
thing.
with
I
Yu-Gi-Oh!
think another thing that helped with Rog's early days was that, unlike the early days of my course on Reach and then the early days of Smokey's course on 4, is that Rog had an unbelievable variety of competitors to choose from back in those early days. Like, because you had the heavy
Yeah.
hitters that like Rog knew about. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, oh my god, he's got me, he's got
Puma,
Smokey, he's got
Fireball.
yeah,
Smokey,
like all these cool
Hunter,
guys.
yeah,
Yeah, all
Stans.
these cool guys are competing in my tournament, and were there in the early days. But then, if you also throw into that a Swan, who, let's be
Yep.
honest, without Spartan Sasuke 1, who knows what could have happened to Swan in terms of his career as a Halo jumper, because it
Yeah.
helped him just take off with that first.
Dude, there
Yeah.
is no Swantron without Spartan Sasuke.
Yeah,
I will
Yeah.
say.
and he himself
It's
said
like
that last podcast.
The peanut
as
butter
well.
and jelly.
But if you also not even Swan, if you also throw into that like a Paddy, because Paddy was
Yeah.
a big success story in the early
Yeah, I
days.
mean, he was
of
rising in the
Spartan Sasuke.
MCC, and then
Yeah,
he was pretty good in the early Halo 5 days.
and then Chumpy, Flame, King
Strafe.
Sparkedy,
An
Strafe,
epic.
an epic, yeah, Clever Alchemist, all these people. So like
Oh,
he
clever.
had like 23 people in his first tournament, I think it was, and
Yep.
Right.
if he'd actually like just gone off of proper jumpers and didn't get any randos, he could have filled those 23 spots up like
Yeah.
so
Uh-huh.
quickly with the big veterans that were
Yeah.
there at the time, and then the new faces that came through thanks to the show.
So, tournament 1, I had a different sign-up process. Like, I had multiple ones. Like, I had the one like where you could comment on the video with your gamer tag, and then I'd message some people on Xbox, hey, I'm starting this up, do you want to do it? But then there was a website, I think it was called Halo Lobbies, where like people, like, you'd post a custom game and then people would show up at the said time. And I think
Yeah.
I got quite a few of those runs through that. And
Ah.
there would have been more people in the first tournament. I think I had 26 signed up, but I think Halo 5 released an update that literally broke my course. Like, you literally fall through the dancing stones. So I had to end Tournament 1 early, but by that point, I already had 23 runs. I was pretty satisfied with the field of competitors I had, so I was like, hey, this is pretty good. I'll go ahead and go with this, see what I can do.
The one name that always stands out to me now from Tournament 1, and it's 100% because he's now apparently become a thing again now in jumping, is Lord of Vu.
Lord of Vu, yeah.
This total rando
yeah.
that was in 1 and was just like never going to appear again. I can't remember if Lord of Vu or Field Scarecrow was the one that competed in the first few tournaments.
Both of them did.
Both of them did. Well, I can't remember. I think it was just Lord of Vu. And then
Lord
he
of
didn't
Vu
come
was
back
just
until...
one.
And then he didn't come back until 19. Yeah, it was Phil Scarecrow that competed in the first, 3 tournaments or something, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he was also in a 19 under a different
He was in
name.
19, and then, now Lord of Vu has, become at least a sort of regular jumper.
He's in my 15. Yeah, he's in my 15.
After being just a total rando that was in one Spartan Sasuke tournament.
For sure.
Yeah, and he'll occasionally, join the chats and just hang out with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, Spartan Sasuke is the reason why jumping still. I don't want to say it like that.
I saved jumping.
It's like
I
there was
both
an era
simultaneously
where it was
destroyed and saved jumping at the same time.
Hunter's gonna get pissy.
No, it's
You
fine.
can't tell me there wasn't an era where it was just Spartan Sasuke tournaments. For
I can see that, yeah.
Yeah, I can't. Look, I think this also came up when Swan talked about it on the last one. And Rog's doing it now. Rog's at that point where life now means he just can't host tournaments as frequently. Me and Smokey were already at that point when Halo 5 started. And Smokey, actually, to be fair, had a very legitimate reason.
Yep.
Because he was moving to Japan.
Military.
Yeah.
He was in the military and moving to Japan in the early Halo 5 days. But yeah, everything that Rog's got going on right now of his life is the same thing that me and Smokey were going through, and it really did hit.
Right.
It hit me at the start of the Xbox One era. It didn't really hit Smokey until the end of MCC / start of Halo 5. I think it was more start of Halo 5. Thinking about it. That was a great year. I still stand by the fact that the 1 year we had on MCC, even though you two weren't a part of it, was one of my favorite years of just, not just Halo jumping, just Xbox in general, because we had such a fun time chilling on all the different Halo games on MCC, and the group of us that was there at the time.
Yeah.
Obviously I wasn't around for the launch of MCC. I have heard plenty of horror stories about how the game launched broken.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So are they true?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
What was your MCC launch experience, shall I say?
I was gonna say, well, the best times. I say the good times. This was when the game actually worked. But even then, with how bad the game was when it first came out, we still managed to find ways to enjoy ourselves, whether it was playing the campaigns or just playing loading up custom games where we would just shoot each other to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still made it work and had fun, even though the Forge and the game itself was just absolutely shocking when it first came out.
Exactly as it shipped 10 years ago. I will never
was 10
let that
years
quote
ago.
go. That was, I think, Halo 2. They had a quote, I think, at the E3, and the guy presenting it, he was like, "This is exactly as you remembered it 10 years ago."
Oh, no. Rip.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that were said at the many E3s that can be taken out of context and compared to how the game ended up launching. It's just nothing like it is in the retail game.
Yeah. I think that what we were talking about earlier, there's an interesting question I can bring. So, we agreed that, in Halo Reach, it was Hunter's course that took off, right?
Yeah.
We agree in Halo 4 and / MCC, it was Smokey's that took off, right? And Halo 5, it was obviously Rog's course that took off.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there will be a course that takes off on Infinite, like out of the ones going on right
I was gonna
now.
say, yeah,
If you were
not
to-
not including like a brand new one, not including anyone that like becomes a ROG and like comes out of
Right.
nowhere.
Yeah.
I think so.
Because obviously, I feel like all like the 4 courses of me, Flame, Sonic, and Irish all have a lot of potential. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Well, it's kind
But,
of
like-
the same spot where I started at the beginning of Halo 5. I'm kind of now reaching that point where Hunter was at the start of Halo 5, where real life's prohibiting me from like getting on as often. So all these other courses are now starting to take off and filling in the gap in between tournaments.
What do you think whenever we get actually into Halo Infinite and we start, getting to build courses again on a new game, which will be great. I'm freaking thrilled about that.
If
Yeah.
I
What do you think? Do you think any of us have what it takes to really?
if you had to force me to choose one now, I would have to probably just take the easy way out and say Irish's. And the only reason I'm picking Irish's is for 2 reasons. One, because of where the 4 of you are at the minute. And again, we discussed this on the last podcast. I think it's reasonably well agreed by most competitors or most members of the jumping community that Irish's is probably overall
Dude,
the
I'll
best
say that.
out of the 4
I'll
of you.
say that right now.
Yeah.
I'll say that
The,
right now.
the other reason why I would pick Irish is, aside from that, is, and this is a lot to do with dedication, and this is part of a conversation that I actually want to bring up later once we're finished talking about Spartan Sasuke.
Yeah.
The other reason why I would pick Irish is dedication. Irish is just like hugely, because a lot of this is to do with like the reason why me and Smokey, and I guess Rog as well now, the reason why we're still doing it is because we love to do it, and it's become part of our lives, but we've managed to find a way to balance it with real life. So many other courses in the past have just like been gone and faded away because they're a flash in the pan. They do them for a bit. They might end up on YouTube. They might still be on YouTube, and then they just stop because people can't be bothered to do them anymore, or because people just don't have the time because of their lives. And I think like it's great that you're saying, Chumpy, you want to, you've got great ideas and plans, but everyone's wondering, what's going to happen with you now from like next week onwards, because you're not taking your Xbox with you to college, and we're not sure what's going to happen. And again, I'm going to come onto this later. We're not really sure what's going to happen with you in terms of like where you're going to be at going forward, and I guess, and that's just you
totally
specifically.
understand.
Yeah,
I totally understand people not picking me as a favorite for that. The only person who I can really choose to pick myself as a favorite is myself. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I gotta have that confidence, but like, I'm never gonna put down any of the other 3 guys. That's freaking stupid. I hate how freaking Flame's ridiculous about it. How he does that. He puts the 3 of us down all the time to make him look better. And I'm not gonna be like that. The 3 courses are definitely great in their own ways, but I think the other 3 definitely also have their own flaws as well.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what's going to happen though with life. Flame might like one day, like, and you could apply this. Like, it's not just hosting a course. You could just apply this to a jumper's jumping career in general. The likes of like Puma and Gotenks are not at the level they once were at, and probably one of the reasons for that is because of their life. They don't have the time to get on Xbox as much anymore, and therefore they go into all these tournaments rusty or not as well prepared. I know from enough conversations I've had with Fireball, like, he's still just about riding a high on Halo Ninja Warrior, but he knows that like one day the day is going to come where he is literally getting on, and he's going to have to do, like, I mean, he's already sort of halfway there anyway with like every other course that's not Smokey's course at the minute. But one day, like, he's still riding the wave of success on Smokey's course at the minute. He knows one day that's going to come to an end because he will just not have the time to practice for Smokey's course either. And so that's why he's just trying to enjoy it right now.
Yeah.
And it's the same for everybody. I mean, that's why I take such pride in the fact that I have still been able to, like, not like push for total victories or anything, but keep up a decent consistency, at least clearing stage 1, despite how much different I am now compared to like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
That's why I'm always But yeah, no one knows what's going to happen is the answer to the question in reality. I would say Irish, but in reality, no one knows what's going to happen. Flame could just, up and disappear one day and not have the time to host his course anymore. Sonic could do the same. We don't know what's going to happen with you.
Pizza Hut will double Flame's hours.
Yeah.
You'll have to pay 1 million space bucks.
Space bucks.
I actually... sorry, go on, Chunk, actually.
What's your thoughts on this, Rog? You're the guest.
Yeah.
And I feel like
if I had to
choose,
choose, I'm kind of with Hunter on this one, and thinking that Irish's is probably the best. I think the reason for that is that Irish's is probably the most different compared to the other ones. Like, I think he has a lot of like his own custom obstacles. Like, he wants his course to be as unique as possible instead of like having like all the Sasuke or A&W obstacles. Like, I mean, he has like the cliffhanger and he's had the salmon ladder, but he'll always try to put his own spin on it and doesn't want to like necessarily copy anyone else, which of course I was kind of guilty of that in the old days. But obviously, as time went on, I got much better with that. I've been using more custom obstacles as time went on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But
I
all of them have
freaking
their
love
strengths. I
Irish's
think
course.
Flame's course, I think overall is definitely a very solid course. Like, he obviously has a lot of dedication for it, and I appreciate that. Sonic, is a pretty good course as well. Same for you, Chumpy.
No, I agree. And like I said earlier, not gonna... I like to... How do I word this? I don't want to word it away and come off as a dick, because that's really not what I'm trying to be.
Right.
I'd like to have confidence in myself, but I think the critical flaw with Irish is that you'll find in the future is that he just runs it too much. He runs
That's one
his
thing I
course
would
a bit
say,
too
yeah.
frequently.
Yeah. Too often.
And I feel like when you're trying to hype up a tournament, it's like we're talking major course here.
Yeah.
Like something that whenever it gets announced, everybody's like, "Oh shit, it's the ROG tournament. It's the Hunter."
That's
tournament.
why, yeah.
It's not
I
giving
feel
as
like
much breathing
I feel
room.
like one of the big things that Irish has a problem with, like his tournament quality, everything is great.
Yeah.
The big thing he has a problem with, though, is getting that excitement and getting people to be like, "Oh shit, it's that Irish tournament."
Yeah, there's
It's
too
like-
much of him like having an idea of a schedule in his head, and he's just like he has to pump it out to that schedule. I think is
And I think he's at a point now where, real life, he's getting much busier. So, like, I think he hasn't been able to stick with the schedule he wanted necessarily.
hasn't he?
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like the schedule's still the same, in my opinion.
It's very similar. It's
Yeah.
monthly.
Yeah, it's like-
He's
I
still
would
saying
definitely
monthly.
get
It's like
more hyped
you have-
for Irish's. I would definitely get more pumped up for running Irish's tournament if I knew I hadn't run the last one like 2 months ago.
Yeah, it's like...
Yeah. And I think that I really don't want to come off as a dick about it, because it's obviously a course that's like competing like with mine for a spot, you know what I mean? With the
But
big
Flames.
kids. But Flames scares me as a host. Like, his course is great. Like, his new one, a solid half of the obstacles I thought were acceptable.
Yeah. What about the other half?
Acceptable.
But I like his forging's fine. He builds
Yeah.
a good course. It's efficient. It's quality. It's just he does
Too
some
hard.
scary decisions that just I feel are really gonna bite him in the butt.
I can't remember
Like
if I
with his
said this.
recent-
I can't remember if I said this on the last podcast, or not, or if we were off camera at that point. But I saw him talking about like, oh yeah, I hope this first tournament, like it kills everybody, and if I get like 3 clears or more, I'm going to make stage 1 impossible next tournament. As soon as I heard that, I just instantly was like, this is 1,000,000% the wrong way to go.
Dumb.
This is
just like
as a
dumb
host.
method.
As a host, this is absolutely the worst thing you could be doing.
You do
I
not
agree.
want another Spartan Sasuke 15. You should be.
I think he's
learning from my
mellowed since then.
mistakes.
I think he's mellowed since then. To be fair, I think he's gone off the
Yeah.
idea of.
And with obviously you got to make a renewal hard, but I feel like a lot of Flames obstacles, which obviously this was a problem that I dealt with and I think have cleaned up on. I feel like a lot of them are super finicky, and obviously that's not his forging's fault.
I mean,
it's
I could-
Halo 5's fault.
I could
and,
definitely like attest to this. Like, it's hard to scale difficulty with a renewal after somebody wins. Like, obviously, you don't want the first tournament after someone wins. You don't want someone to win again. So, like, you try to make the course harder. Introduce all these new obstacles that everyone's not familiar with, you know. And sometimes the ideas
as a
can come
spec-
across as
yeah.
finicky or too difficult, which, you know, obviously I'm guilty of this. I should know. I've had Spartan Sasuke 15.
And as somebody who was there for Sonic's run on Flames course, I'm not gonna say where he failed, but the obstacle
I know.
he did fail, I watched lag on both attempts, and he just didn't care.
Yeah.
Flame didn't care.
I do
And
know
that
which
bugged me
obstacle
as a
he
host.
failed,
I remember.
and
Yep,
yeah,
that was unfortunate.
obviously we're not going to say
it was
which one,
like-
obviously, for spoiler purposes.
Yeah, it was clearly finicky on both attempts, and it just like it's
Didn't
not
he
even
have
an
like
obstacle.
a rule like where if it
It's
was
not even an
finicky, he'd give a
obstacle.
rerun?
He don't.
Yeah,
he
that's
did give
what
that.
he
He gave
did,
that
and
to
he didn't do
me.
it for
Yeah,
Sonic.
he gave
He
that
gave
to
it
me.
to me, but he
if,
didn't give
if
it
it was
to Sonic.
finicky, yeah. It
gave
didn't.
it to me
Sorry,
and
yeah.
didn't give it to
I
Sonic.
should clarify. It didn't happen to me, but he said if it did, it would. Yeah, he would have given me a rerun.
That's the thing. He gave it to me. He didn't give it to Sonic.
Oh, so did you
that-
get a rerun?
I got a rerun
Ah.
for the
Yeah.
same thing, and
Well,
Sonic.
that's
got
where
2
you'd
attempts.
hope that like personality, or like an issue with the person, doesn't come into play. Which I'm not. I have no
Yeah.
proof to say that that is what happened there, but.
I don't think. I don't want to say it's because Flame. Could that be such a dick thing to say if it's because it was Sonic and not me? But like, it feels that way.
Right.
It kind of like it left a bad taste in my stomach whenever I was there for that run and I watched like me get a redo for something that happened to him twice.
Literally the
in a
same
run,
thing.
and he didn't get a single redo, and that made me upset. Sonic's
Yeah.
course, I think Sonic's problems are very simple. His forging just doesn't look good, and his commentary is kind of a raw
Yeah.
commentary in the early days.
Yeah. I think probably the first thing, like, I mean, I like Sonic's course, don't get me wrong, but I mean, it definitely has its issues. Like, I think the colors are a little too bright for the course. Like, it's just not pleasing to the eye.
Yeah.
And like the textures are very basic. I know he's not the only one that's guilty of this. I think Irish is also guilty of this as well. But like, for me, I never use the base texture. Like, I'll always use a different texture wherever it's offered.
Mm-hmm. Oh, like the base. Yeah. I know
Yeah.
you're talking about like the Forerunner Covenant
Yeah.
and like concrete and stuff.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
one
no,
thing I'm really looking forward to with Infinite, because we're gonna have a lot more options with
watched
textures in
it.
Infinite.
Excited.
I've watched a couple of Duquesne videos showing off like forge maps of his own and of other people. Oh my god, the level of variety that I think is going to exist in this game based off these videos is going to be like fantastic.
Insane.
I've already got ideas
I've
in my
seen-
head. This probably won't happen. I've already got ideas in my head of the start line. I'm going to have a giant hunter statue.
Oh yeah, dude. There's like a
Yeah.
giant Spartan.
That's
Dude, it
why
has,
I've
it's
got an
like-
idea of a hunter statue, because of the giant
Oh my God.
Spartan.
Yeah,
That's
it's
funny.
like a giant yellow and red Spartan. Like, even though you probably won't be able to color that as your Spartan Infinite because armor coatings. Thanks 343.
I'm gonna try and pay for it if I can. I'm gonna try and buy gold, buy yellow, the color if I can.
Well, you have the base yellow. That's just plain yellow.
I'm really excited because I already have my armor coating because I spent $8 on it already.
Yeah.
So
Well, I
I'm
like my
set.
armor coating because I earned it from
Like, I
getting
found the
rank
black and orange.
152
I'm like,
in
dude, I'm
Halo
good.
5. Plus, it's
found
the
the
colors
black
that I
and
already
orange.
wear in Halo 5, so that's pretty cool.
I'm not sure if I don't remember gold being a default color, or like being a color that you can pick. Or maybe I just haven't played
in the
Infinite in
store
so
right
long
now,
that I can't
there is
remember.
a specific gold thing in the store for like $12. So it's like gold and like a touch green. But it's like
Maybe it's just because I haven't
metallic
played
gold.
Infinite in so long. I don't remember or can't remember.
Yeah. So if you want to get gold right now, Hunter, you can load up Infinite and pay
My,
like
my
12
I
pounds.
won't
$12.
I won't start talking about the individual course again because I discussed it last time with Swan's on the Swan Cat podcast. What I would say, at least in terms of the conversation about the
Yeah,
renewal.
no, we talk trash on everybody's course except for mine. I want you guys to talk trash on mine after you finish this take, Connor.
I will say something about a renewal, like getting it right. Like, I'm pretty fortunate because I follow Sasuke, obviously. So
Yeah.
all like and I'm only basing this off the most recent renewals. All like my last renewal in 17, it's just based off Sasuke. It's all the Sasuke obstacles that came in at that time. The likes of the jumping spider, blah blah blah, all that stuff. So I'm going off of like the formula, really. So if people don't like it, they can just blame Sasuke. But I don't really think anyone really complained about my renewal. As far as I know, obviously tournaments don't happen that often, but at the time, I don't think anyone was really that annoyed about it.
Yeah.
I think 17 was a really cool tournament.
17 is one of my favourite tournaments for the difficulty of it. 19 is the obvious one to look at or to think about as difficult. And actually, to be fair, 19, as far as I can remember, tournament 19 is the only time I can ever remember being frustrated with one of my tournaments. He failed the flying shoot, and then after his runner was like, well, I guess that's what happens when you have a warped wall that's lock-based, because he took like 5 attempts at the warped wall, and that warped wall you did have to use the frost glitch to get up it.
Yeah,
and that's
so
what
it's kind of
cost
the
him.
same thing as my.
That's the only time I've ever heard get frustrated at my course. But that's just using that as an example. Smokey's renewal, I think, is very clever because whilst, yes, there's lots of new obstacles, it isn't as noticeable as you think because, I mean, the first obstacle you run in his renewal course in 21 is
Right.
and is an old obstacle from way back in the day that almost nobody will have attempted unless you're a long
what was
season.
it?
The hill
It was
climb.
the hill climb from 7.
Hill climb.
It's like me, like anyone, the people that were in 7, which was like me, Snaz, Soul, and that might actually be it. With the only people that had tried, with the only people that had tried that obstacle before.
Wasn't it an 8?
No, it was
The hill climb?
No, it was 7.
it was
I don't
7.
know.
He had a
Okay.
step slider in 8.
And the
But
one
yeah,
with, like,
even,
combat
not
stuff.
even just that. Like he made the dragon glider into like the trampoline obstacle of that era, at the beginning of that era.
Yeah.
The crooked wall, obviously, he found an amazing obstacle with that that became, it's become basically the staple of his stage 1 course.
Yeah. God bless that correct.
So yeah, that's stage 1. Just the
That brings
renewal
up my
in that
number.
stage 1 on 21. That alone, there wasn't actually that many new obstacles, or as many as you'd think. Obviously, and if I recall correctly, the stage 2 in 21 wasn't all that much different either. There was only like 2 new obstacles in that tournament.
Yeah, he still had the same salmon ladder. I know he was like toying around with a new salmon ladder idea, but eventually went with the one he's had previously.
Yeah, no, Smokey's course is great.
And in the tournaments that have come since then, he's honestly, at 25, he's probably shaked it up a little bit, but in 24, I just couldn't help but look at the amount of classic obstacles that were in that tournament. You know, his stage 1,
Right.
he brought back the TIE Fighter, a classic obstacle. He brought back the Hazard Swing, a classic
The
obstacle.
spin bridge.
The Spin Bridge, classic obstacle. And this is like still like reasonably early renewal
Doorknob
days.
Rasper.
So there's a clever trick to it, I think, with renewal. The last one of the 3, Rogs, I think, whilst it was undoubtedly too difficult, I think it didn't help that at the time there were there was probably a lot of competitors that were sort of like drifting out at that point. Like, we didn't know what was happening with Swan. People like the epic restrooms of the world with then talking things of the world were starting to disappear.
Go back to Roblox.
Yeah, they were starting to disappear, and I don't think I think your renewal came at a wrong time in Halo jumping as a whole, because there wasn't a big enough field. There wasn't a big enough field of competitors to deal with it. I think, and I still
had
stand.
this chumpy guy getting first
I still
place.
stand by this feeling. If you ran your 15 now, or if someone had 15 as their course, with
You did
the
get 8 clears.
the level of, like, with the field of competitors that exists right now in 2022, I think you could have a much more interesting tournament.
Yeah.
You get 8 clears.
I don't know about 8. I'd say probably 5 or 6.
You get 8 clears in that tournament 15. I will stand.
Yeah.
I will die on that hill.
I don't think
Jumping's
anyone's
good right
getting
now.
to the final. It's
Jumping's good right now.
like, that stage 3, that was really difficult back then.
It's still difficult
either
now.
14 or 15. Like, I'd argue those are my toughest stage 3s I've ever had. And even then,
No,
the
Jump-
only attempt before 16 was from Chumpy. Like, he ended up failing the cliffhanger.
Let's not forget that.
let's go.
Let's not forget that Buddy could have competed in tournament 21 of Smokies, but
I will not participate.
turned it down because he thought Smokey stage 3 in 21 was impossible.
Wait, he was aiming for stage 3, buddy, in 21.
Buddy, well, you know, I mean,
Why?
he's just saying that, you know, like he must have looked at the maps, or like he'd been chatting with Smokey, and like Smokey had asked him, you know, you're in 20, you know, you beat stage 1, would you like to compete in 21? And I think he didn't hear anything for like a week or something. I don't know the exact, can't remember the exact details. And so he chased him up again, and Buddy said to him, I've looked at the map. I think stage 1 and stage 2, you know, is difficult but doable. But he thought stage 3 was just impossible. And he just didn't want to compete if he didn't think he could do it. Which obviously he couldn't do it. Hence why he said it was impossible.
Right. Dude, that
He's
stage
never
3
competed
is
since.
something else. Like, of all the stage 3s out there, I'd argue Smokies is definitely the hardest. I think the first time I beat his hang climb on Halo 5, I think it was just a couple of weeks ago, all the way through. It took me 3 years to beat that stupid hang climb, just on my own.
Yeah,
I've always joked and said that, like, I don't understand why Fireball struggles with that one jump on the hang climb, which is obviously also the jump that Chumpy failed in 24.
It's a hard jump.
It's a hard jump, I don't deny it, but anytime I've attempted it, when I've got to it, and this is probably from like around about tournament 22, 23, when I first started attempting it, I figured out how to do it reasonably quickly, and so then I just got really confused. How's Fireball suck so bad at this jump? It's the jumps afterwards I stuck at. The little rocks for the 4th and 5th one, I've screwed up so many more times than the jump onto the 3rd rock.
Yeah, you gotta be like really precise with those.
I am a guy who failed the curtain clang. I suck at those wall jumps.
I'm really proud of my curtain cling record, because I am the first person to ever fail the curtain cling, and I've never failed it since. And I must have attempted
Famous
it like
last words.
10 times. Yeah, I've probably screwed myself over now by saying that.
Dude, his curtain clang's tough though.
His curtain cling is tough. I feel very proud that I was one of only 2 people to beat it in 23. On one attempt, actually, I don't think this story's come out. I probably would talk about this when I do my like Halo 5 runs video that I did.
Yeah.
for Halo 4 and MCC.
Yeah.
My first attempt on stage 3 in that tournament, I failed the first obstacle. And Smokey was actually quite calm with me. He was like, yeah. Oh, you just did this wrong, Hunter? And I was like, yeah, I know, man. And it's just like, that's all good. It's all good. I know what I did wrong. I can just, not screw it up. So that's one attempt, second try. I didn't botch the first obstacle, and I got through that planet bridge on one attempt. And then to beat that curtain thing with one shot at it, yeah, I was very happy with that.
Because he made the curtain clean harder for that.
He made it too tough, and I think he would admit he probably made it a little bit too tough.
Yeah.
The question I wanted to ask with regards to Spartan Sasuke was, since we're talking about which ones, we were just talking about which one's going to take off next, is I'm trying to remember what was the point when we kind of accepted Spartan Sasuke as a major course. Because there's no acceptance into being a major course. There's no enrollment or anything. There's not going to be a meeting one day where me, Smokey, and Rog get together and we agree on one of these courses now being considered a major course. It just sort of happens naturally, and I think that's what happened with Rog. But I'm trying to remember exactly when it happened.
I want to say around the middle of Halo 5. Either 2018 or 2019. One of the around.
Really? I would have said way earlier than that.
I don't know about earlier. I think earlier, like after Smokey's first solo victory, I think I was really starting to build up that momentum. And then I think by the end of it, I think that's the point, I think, when it's like, yeah, this is one of the big courses.
I know the first time I took it seriously was Tournament 7.
Yeah.
My God, did I sweat Tournament 7. My God, did I sweat that tournament just to fail a freaking spider walk. Wait, what was that thing called?
That's the Skywalk thing.
Skywalk.
Oh, Skywalk, sorry, I was thinking of 13.
Oh my goodness, that thing.
Speaking
I don't
of
know why I
Skywalk,
failed it. It's not even that hard.
speaking of Skywalk, let's talk
Obviously,
about how Hunter took it for his upcoming tournament, 22.
Spoilers! Because no one actually knows stage 2. Someone went into my wiki yesterday and edited, because there is a Tournament 22 wiki page, but the only thing that's on it is a picture of the start line, a very brief bit of text, and then the stage 1 obstacles. And someone fiddled with the stage 1 obstacles. They said, this obstacle's new, this obstacle's been modified. They said that I've apparently modified the half-pipe attack in 22, which I didn't, so I need to change that.
Interesting.
Dude, you know I have a wiki, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people
This
do.
is the other thing. I have to work off of Irish's master spreadsheet so much because there's no promotion towards the wikis that exist for all these other courses. I know Sonic has one. Atlantic's comment just now has told me that he has one.
I have one.
Well, yeah. I mean, sorry. I know. Obviously, Rogs, like the major courses, everyone's aware of the wikis that exist for those. It's the other ones. It's the Atlantis and the Sonics.
I don't know how you advertise just.
I don't know. Stick it in the Discord. I think is the easiest way.
It used to be
doing
like
it.
in my old announcement videos, like I'd always say for more info, visit the Spartan Sasuke wiki.
I think I still do put a link to my wiki in every time I upload an episode.
Yeah.
Because I know I definitely have a wiki.
Yeah.
I actually wrote one of my greatest papers of all time in that wiki. It was my description of Halo Sasuke Tournament 12.
Look, I know
Oh
you
my
now.
God,
I know
it's
you look back
phenomenal.
on 12 now and don't like it, but I still stand by. It's a fun tournament. And don't get me wrong, I haven't rewatched it, so I'm not really justifying my comments about saying it's great. But I still think it was a funny tournament to watch because it's different. It's different to the same premieres that you always get.
Right.
Yeah, it's wacky. It's not trying to
it's
take
such
itself seriously.
It's such a dumpster fire tournament.
Hey,
It's hard
Chumpy,
to-
remember when I originally got to stage 2, you restarted the tournament, and then I failed the first obstacle, stage 1?
Yeah,
Remember,
Rog.
Chumpy?
Yeah, I remember when I
Remember when I
botched.
was gonna have 100? Remember when I was gonna have 100 competitors?
I remember when I
That
somehow
rod.
botched the flying shoot in Tournament 12, and then the tournament restarted, and I thought, yes, now I got a chance at, redemption, and then I failed the flying shoot again.
Yeah. No,
Well, at
that
least you
tournament
didn't do
sucks.
worse.
Yeah, that's the one
I,
thing.
I won't spoil my Halo Sasuke top 15, but that is number 15.
12.
Burger King foot lettuce.
12. The last thing you want.
But the Tobey Maguire cameos.
Dude, I will filter that in the tournament 12, like in that top 10. Like that's gonna be what I put in. It's just gonna be the clip of the clears rolling down, and it's just Tobey Maguire dancing.
And then Sony's
Okay,
gonna
so-
file DMCA against you.
I asked politely for you guys to talk shit on my course, and you haven't done that yet. I want you guys to do that. I want it. I want the heat. Rod, go.
Well, we already talked about Tournament 12 and how that one was kind of missed. I would say maybe your early renewal tournaments probably weren't the greatest. Just, I think from a course standpoint, I think it obviously got much better as time went on, but it was kind of a similar feeling to what
What
I
is
have
going on the
with
screen right now? Why am I
Chronicles.
staring right at Chumpy's face?
Oh god,
Okay,
are both of you
closer.
on Fall Guys?
No. I'm on Fall Guys, but I mean the stream is literally
I don't even have that.
Chumpy's face.
Oh god.
Sorry, apologies to interrupt. The only tournament I can think of, because don't get me wrong, one of the reasons why I would still say Irish is my favourite of the non-major courses is Irish's, is because I really enjoy. I can rewatch the Irish tournaments, and maybe I can rewatch them because of his commentary. It makes me want to rewatch them again. I feel like Chumpy's, I might have watched a couple of his tournaments, like 2 or 3 times, and ironically, I think the ones I did rewatch were like the ones you just said were not great, like 9 and 10. I feel like they're the ones I've watched a couple of times back since the premiere.
I think
I haven't watched 12 more than once.
Yeah, and I think the other thing with your course, and I think kind of why it's taken this long to take off, is because you would always restart your tournament. Chumpy, like, I remember you hosted your first tournament back in like 2016, and like you would like constantly restart your tournament, like over and over. Like you would constantly do it. Obviously, you weren't the only one.
Hosted the tournament.
He had Jesus Live. He restarted his tournament. I cannot describe how many times like Talking Game and Wolf Ninja restarted their tournaments when those were things.
Yeah. No, and I feel like the big thing was I don't really talk about the Atlantic Sasuke era and like the first attempt at Halo Sasuke very much, because it's like, I don't know. And the main reason why I restarted the first Halo Sasuke was because I wanted to record, and I felt like I needed a fresh start to do that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So,
The only tournament I could honestly remember where I could talk shade about it was Tournament 2, because it was like not uploaded. And when it was uploaded, Irish did it. Which is ironic, because it then produced one of my favourite moments in Halo Sasuke, which was my fail and the 1-minute replay, where Irish was really confused.
I love that.
But yeah,
That was
as a
awesome.
spectacle, I guess I would have to pick Tournament 2.
Yeah. No, I feel like that I'm starting to like recover though from like my tournament 12 dumpster fire a bit.
Yeah. Hey, at least you
Yeah.
didn't restart from tournament 1 again. That's the important thing.
Dude, tournament 12 and 11 were dumpster fires.
Yeah.
And I'm finally getting back. Yeah. And I'm finally back to where I'm just chilling, which is great.
He's vibing.
And then this little thing called college happened.
Dude, did I tell you guys my game? I put it in the Discord.
Yeah. I think
My
so.
game plan. It's gonna be like 3 a year when I go to college, at the most. I'm gonna go for like two's the
Minimum.
I'm gonna do one in the winter and one in the summer. I might do two in the summer, honestly.
Yeah, because you have like a longer gap in the summer.
Right.
It's like the middle
So-
of, I think, May through the end of August.
So that's my plan.
Because college,
I
they
might
have,
try
like,
to
a
do-
longer summer break compared to like grade school. Well, to be fair,
Yeah,
like
right.
college offers like 12-week summer terms, but I
And
don't
it's
think
not
too many
like-
people take advantage of it.
Yeah. And it's not like I didn't run 2 tournaments this summer. It's not like it's not doable.
Yeah.
So that's where I stand with that. The big thing is just the factor of time at this point. Like, do I want to put my time into editing? Like, I know my game plan is for the next tournament 16, is to run it in the winter and upload it around March, springtime.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, it could hurt because of the fact that I'm going to upload it in the spring and then run 2 summer tournaments. But I think I'm going to, like, get the first summer tournament out in the summer and get the next one out in, like, the winter or fall.
Yeah.
So that way it's a bit more periodic, if you know what I mean, for the viewers.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and can I also just say, my Spartan's starting an OnlyFans.
Your OnlyFans? Oh, God.
Only Spartans.
No, it's because he's pointing
It's
it
not TikTok.
at his rear. He's pointing it at his jiggle spot at the minute. the jiggle spot, as we call it whenever we do it in a Chris intro.
Yeah, right.
I think. Well, no, that's the other jiggle spot. I think. Oh, by the way, I never actually answered my initial question about rocks. I would have said like around like the tournament's 8-ish time was probably maybe when we started to consider it
Yeah.
a major course, but that's
Yeah.
like a conversation from like 5 minutes ago. What I would say,
And then you
this is
stopped
coming on to,
competing.
this is well, yeah, we covered that last podcast as well. Here's what I would say, and this is one of the topics I wanted to come onto on this podcast, and this is really my last opportunity to do it before you go to college, so I'm going to get it all out now. I think it's a really fucking dumb idea not taking your Xbox with you, and I'm going to go through why, Charlie.
Dude, I don't have a choice just to make it.
Do you? I was going to
so
say,
I'll hear you out.
someone said something about like it was your parents are stopping you from taking it with you.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know until someone said it to me yesterday. I actually thought every time you said, I'm not taking my Xbox with you, it was out of you choosing not to take it. But that
Right.
gives me a different twist on it. Instead, I will say to you, you're an adult, practically. You don't have to
Yeah.
listen to what your parents... If you want to take your Xbox, you should be allowed to take your Xbox with you. I get where you and them are coming from. Like, you want to have, like, a social life or, like, an actual, like, normal time at college.
Mhm.
To which I would say, you can 100% still have that and take your Xbox with you.
Let me throw this one out there.
Yeah, go on.
Yes, I am an adult. I don't own my Xbox. My parents bought it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that either.
Okay, get a new Xbox, like a
Get a new
Series S.
Xbox.
Yeah, like Series S is only like
I
300
don't have.
bucks.
I am broke.
Dude, don't you make some
Bro.
money from like the ice cream shop?
Not enough. And I would
Not
spend
even
that money on, like,
$300?
living.
You spent that money
I
on
spend that money
lifting.
on living.
Oh, if we said lifting.
Oh, yeah, don't you have like
too.
a super fancy
Gym
car?
memberships are expensive. $200
But of course, so
man.
they bought your Xbox for you, but no one else uses the Xbox, right?
Yeah.
Well, by that same logic, then my little brother should have no right thinking he can take his Xbox anywhere. But he has, the little bitch. So,
No, I'm not gonna complain about. I don't want to bring it, so I'm not inclined to bring it. You know what I mean?
I
Not that I don't
I
mind.
just think, yeah, there's plenty of examples of people like like the Mats and the Pumas, and there's probably someone else that's also gone to college, where they took their Xbox, but they also toyed with the idea of not taking it initially. And
Yeah.
absolutely, if I asked them right now and they came in this party, they would say they were better off for actually taking it with them than not. Because it's not just
Sure, but like,
it's not just for like the fear that it'll affect you from like having a social life. It's nothing to do with that at all. It's just the fact that there's going to be times where you're not going out, or you're not studying, or you're not doing anything, and you just want to have that chill time, and you can do that with your Xbox.
Here's a plot twist. He's gonna take his PlayStation instead.
hey,
Oh, I'm screwed.
I'm switching, boy. No, just kidding.
Oh yeah, well I was gonna say Puma I think's
no,
got like three
I-
consoles on the go now.
Dude, yeah, but Puma's kind of lame. I gotta be honest.
Puma's definitely
mean way
got
to think of
Puma's like, I think he does some like actual stuff for his actual
be
real
hon-
life, but he is also still a
Yeah.
massive gaming nerd.
Yeah.
I got some stuff I gotta do. I'm not gonna be screaming at an Xbox from a college dorm. Screw that. Lame. I'd be the lame person on campus. And that's not what I want.
What are you gonna be screaming at now?
The women. I don't know.
Oh god.
I'm joking.
I think it would
Kinda.
also have. I think it would also have an impact on your motivation, or well, your ability, but also your motivation to then want to pick up Halo Sasuke and Halo jumping in general again on the short periods when you can do it again if your Xbox wasn't there. Because that's the other thing about Matt,
Right.
is that whilst Matt also absolutely loves it for like the social side of things to chill, he also absolutely has the balance of like, if he wants to do runs, he'll get on to do them and he'll find the time to do them. And I don't know how he's done it, but somehow he's had his peak years as a jumper since this happened. Since this happened, where like he only comes on now to do runs, and look at what he's done.
Yeah. Remember, I think Spartan Sasuke 17, Matt said he was going to retire. Now look at him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but that was when he was in his like absolute like rock bottom point of his jumping career.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not inclined to, because it just doesn't make sense for me to bring into a dorm where everybody's packed in together. I'm not gonna
What if
yell
they
at
already have an
a
Xbox there?
roommate.
I was gonna say, I think if you got there and like, I don't know how many people are in your dorm. Like, I don't know if it's like 6 people or something, or more than that per
It's
dorm.
4.
4 people. If you got well, then this would make it even funnier what I was about to say. If you get there and it's a dorm of 4 people and 2 or more of them have a console, then you're going to instantly regret your decision of not taking it.
Right.
Yeah. You'll just want to drive back home.
I get
I'm
you not
taking
wanting
this
to.
Xbox. Bye, Mom. Bye, Dad.
I get you not wanting to, not wanting to be rage, but that's self-choice. Like, if you learn to not rage, like you do at Fall Guys for some reason, then, and not just at Fall Guys, obviously, I'm using that as a single example, then you won't have to worry about the whole, I don't want to be the guy raging in my dorm.
Yeah.
I know it sounds
No,
simple to say,
I'm-
like, learn to not be that kind of guy, but, yeah.
I'm just not inclined. That's my end conclusion with this.
Hey, do whatever you're most
I'll
comfortable
come back.
with, Chumpy.
I'll come back. You know, host a tournament, edit while I'm at college in my
Yeah.
free time. You know, make the
Are you
tournament
bringing
look really
computer
good.
with you, Chumpy?
Oh, of course. I
What
need a
if it
computer.
can't run Infinite?
It's a laptop now.
Oof. Yeah, you gotta have like a really good PC to run it. And like, I've had my desktop for a while, and back when I first got it, it was like top of the line $1,000 PC, but it's minimum specs only meets just the minimum specs to run Infinite.
I don't want to push the podcast, but the gym closes at 6 and it's 4:30.
Oh,
So-
what? I had so many more things. I was going to start.
I say if we have like 15 minutes to do whatever closing remarks we want to do.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna bring it to a wrap.
Well,
That's fine
I'd
with
say we should probably talk about what's to look forward to for the future. And obviously, of course, it's Halo Infinite. Obviously,
Hell yeah.
Forge, assuming 343 doesn't delay it again, should be coming out within the next 1 to 3 months, which, you know, we're finally going to have it in our hands after nearly a year after Infinite's launch. You know, it should
And
have been
then
there
and
much
2 years
earlier, but
since we thought we were initially getting
since
it.
the delay, yeah, that's a whole different thing. Like, when that delay was first announced, yeah, I was still gonna wait for the Infinite to come out, and then they delay Forge. It was like, well, I got no other choice. I gotta do another Halo 5 tournament. But I am excited for Infinite's Forge, but at the same time, I'm very worried. I'd say I'm more worried than I am hyped for Infinite's Forge, given the Infinite's current track record of overall functionality of the game and just the overall service 343 is providing with the game. It just has not been
Being able
anything
to
to
run
write
it,
home about.
yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
It's obviously the store is very lackluster. Desync's still a very huge issue. Custom games and feeder are still broken. What's to say that these features are going to be fixed when Forge comes out? If they can't even fix them 9 months after launch, you know? So that's the part that's got me worried. Which got me thinking, you know, if Forge comes out completely broken and we're unable to make courses, you know, why rush to going into my first Infinite tournament? Because I don't know exactly when I'm going to host 23, but the plan for me is to wait until next year to host Tournament 23, because A, I want my first Infinite tournament to be as good as it can, and B, I'm obviously getting busier in real life. I'm starting to enter that phase where I might be taking internships, I might be looking for a full-time job, so I really gotta push myself to really prepare myself for my own future. So, I mean, obviously I'm going to have even less time to hang out on Xbox, so it's probably going to reach the same point that Smokies and Hunter's courses are at now, and where I'll only be able to do one tournament a year. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You know,
There's
I'm
no
sure
problem with
some
that.
of the little
unless
kids will
unless
probably
you're
want
Hunter
me to do
unit,
more
then there's a
tournaments, but,
problem.
you know,
Listen, yeah,
I'm
I'll
fine
admit,
taking my time.
I've dropped the ball because I was really hoping that Infinite would come out a bit better than this. But at the same time, like I say, I still stand by it because I will use the opportunity to catch up. And if I can catch up to the point where I want to catch up, where it'll be a sort of I'm uploading a tournament, or I've uploaded a tournament. Let's just say the plan right now is to get 22 out, and once 22 is out, by the time all of 22 is out, Halo Infinite will be functioning enough by the time 22 comes out that I can announce 24. You know, 23 is being edited whilst 24's started or happened.
Yeah.
And then follow that one tournament process from there onwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Even if
I'll
it means
speak
not
for
having
me.
a tournament this year.
Yeah, that's the
I'll speak
downside
for me
now.
real quick.
Yeah.
My game plan's simple. There will be a tournament in December.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It will happen. Whatever function, whatever game I'm gonna do, I have a
Yeah.
course ready. I'm ready on Halo 5.
And obviously, I can't say what the other hosts, what their plans are for when Infinite Forge comes out.
I'll be honest with you. Truthfully, I had the similar idea as Trumpy. I thought, let's see if we can get a Christmas, New Year's, January tournament happening for me. Obviously, Chumpy would be an exception. I'd probably save a spot for him for whenever he gets back if I started it after he'd gone back to college. But that was always the idea in my head. But that was purely on the basis that was just solely for me. This was without even thinking about, is Forge going to be decent? What's everyone else doing? Because obviously, as I say, the conversation has turned more recently in the Discord to like,
How are we gonna make this
should we
jump?
actually immediately go to Infinite once Forge is ready, or is there a stopgap where Halo 5 is still being used?
I think that's why whenever I'm running it at a good time, running it is going to be at a good time for me, because, like, the Forge will be ready by November, right? Or is it September?
I
I
think
heard-
September they were wanting to target an open beta, which is like coming to the retail games, so like you're able to save your maps and like forge all that. So they call it an open beta, but it's only open beta in name.
But the plan,
know it's
from what I
probably gonna be
understand,
buggy.
is a November release, right? Which I think is
Sometime
perfect
in
about
fall.
running.
That's
About
kind of
game
the general
planning
consensus.
Well, if
If
it's
it does
sometime in fall,
December,
that
is
works
because-
for November at the latest. Would be the absolute latest if it was
Yeah,
going
'cause,
off
like,
for fall release.
November, that's when
Yeah.
season 3 comes out.
Like, legitimately, December is, in my opinion, the perfect time to host a tournament, rather one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because, like, if it's out, it's going to be out for a while. All the bugs will be fixed by
Yeah.
the time I'm building a map.
And then you're gonna have
And-
the new
From you,
Christmas
from your
competitors
standpoint, yeah.
come around.
From your
And
standpoint,
I
yeah,
will
that's a good
also
point.
be running it at a time when, the people who show up for Infinite will be there.
I think
Um,
you will have
I'll-
to be. One thing I will say for you as the host, because you'll be working off of a limited time frame to host the tournament before you go back. I think you're going to have to be really brutal. Like, you'd have to, like, people that you might want to be in the tournament could actually miss out if they don't stick to the deadlines.
I've been having conversations with a few guys that I talked to Irish, I talked to Sonic about helping me if I need it with the guys who run late, like really really late, if you know what I mean.
Ah, okay.
I'm gonna get all the,
The
randos
Cobras
and
of
stuff
this
myself,
world.
but the Cobras, the Sunny Sides. That was my recent victim for 15. He took so he
Sonic's
didn't even run.
Sonny's the last person to run Flames course. I was he had 2 spots left coming into today, which is the last day for Flames course, and I did mine just before we started this podcast. And now he's just waiting on Sonny, and apparently Sonny has now become the new Cobra,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
But you know what I mean. Like those guys. I
Yeah.
don't need help getting randos. I can do that in like literally 15 minutes
Yeah.
if I wanted to. But
Is this still going to be a 50-person tournament?
the plan is for 16 to be 50, and to test the water with the 50. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See who all shows up, and if it's more than I thought we're gonna show up. If I have to do a smoky style qualifying for 16, I'm going to 117 because I absolutely hate the concept of having a qualifying. Like that, the concept of telling somebody they can't run a jump tournament just upsets me.
I truthfully can't remember when I look back on it now. Can't understand how we ever managed to make qualifying work. I've only ever really properly run one qualifying because 17 doesn't count because that was just to determine run order. So I don't count that as a qualifying. I've only ever run one qualifying, which was for 13, and it wasn't even a proper qualifying. All it did was give me 10 jumpers, and the 5 of them that did the best would definitely be in the tournament and would get like specific numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's ironic because 2 of the 10 people that did it were Snars and Buddy.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, but to this
It's
day,
just-
nowadays, I do not understand for the life of me how in like 16 and 17,
Oh.
Smokey managed to run proper qualifying. I think I still believe it's a cool concept, but how
gotta have
how
the
to make it
numbers.
work?
It definitely makes you feel cool as a course host, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, everybody wants to run at the cut people.
Dude.
Hey, like that concept, but like, it's just I'm not about it. Like the reason why 13 got out so quick was because I literally got all my runs in like one weekend. It was a crazy weekend, but like I got them all in so quick. Everybody ran so quick, and there were people who normally want to compete in my tournaments that I've had to say no to.
I think I've said it previously. Like, I want to get the balance right for my first Infinite tournament, where there's going to be all the faces that are here now. The likelihood most of them are going to, or most, if not almost all of them, are going to be on Infinite. There's going to be the old faces, like I'm talking like the draggers of this world that are going to come back into the scene, and that's not going to take up a huge quantity, but I do think there are people that will come back.
You're gonna get a Dom back?
Maybe. I have talked to him about it, and he said maybe.
What about Ree?
Well, Ree has Infinite.
back.
I've seen Ree play Infinite on his PC or whatever.
Yeah.
Or his
Hey,
Xbox,
Ree,
I
if you're
can't
watching
remember.
this, Tournament 23 is
We're
Spartan
making
Sasuke.
we're making
Be
it.
there.
You want to know one of the jumpers I've always wanted to meet, but I have just never met is Dom. I've never.
He's
met
a
him.
total
Yeah.
derp.
Never met the
I call him a derp for a reason, because he is a derp. He's a real wally. And sometimes I do wonder how he functions in real life. But, yeah, sorry, and then, so that's 2 sets. Then the third set is the new guys, if we look at, like, the fact that Chumpy, Paddy, Swan, Rog, all these people were the new generation in MCC and Halo 5, how many new people are we going to get
will show
through
up on the
Infinite?
opportunity to play
Yeah.
on a new console.
Yeah,
People who we've never even met.
yeah, brand new
I'm
people.
not even talking about like the Sonics or the Joeys. Like we're talking
Yeah.
about like the new people that will
The brand new
show up
people,
on
literally the
game.
new people that arrived at the beginning of MCC and the beginning of Halo 5.
Let's say there's like 60 jumpers that will like compete on courses right now. That number could very well, in my opinion, double. Like it could very well.
And
Yeah,
that's
especially with
where
it coming
you
to
wonder, like,
PC.
that's where you wonder, like, yeah, that was going to be my 4th category, which was PC players, because it's going to open up a whole, and I guess they could fall under new faces as well. But we've never had PC before, so in a way, it's its own category of competitor.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's just going to be so many people, and that's why maybe a qualifying system could actually be a realistic thing that's done. I think there would have to be some limitations to it. I had an idea in my head of, like, if you've beat stage 1 before, or if you finished in the top 50 or something like that in tournament 23, you don't have to run the qualifiers, and then sort of weed it out from there.
Yeah.
Because obviously you can't get 100. Let's just take the number that Chumpy just said. Let's just say it's 120 potential new faces, and this is before you even take into account category 5, which is randos that are going to get fast forwarded. If you get a rando that gets fast forwarded, likely it is they're not going to run a qualifier as well.
That's gonna suck. The guys that want to actually like compete they might have to. The odds of them getting fast forwarded is a lot worse.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But let's just take the number that Chumpy just said, 120 people. You couldn't get 120 people, including like people that are of the power of like Smokey. You couldn't get them to run qualifiers, so it'd have to be a certain cutoff. Like I say, I feel like the idea I had in my head, if I did it, top 50 plus anyone that's beat stage 1 ever in their careers, don't have to do it. And then everyone else that doesn't fit into that category is eligible to run a qualifier.
Yeah.
Maybe a third category could be if you've competed like X amount of times on this course, so you could avoid the Ironbugs of this world.
That's the thing.
Wouldn't have to run.
That's the thing.
I mean, Ironbug doesn't compete anymore, but like, it could work for someone like
Just
a
an
Foamy on
example.
some courses.
Did you know in tournament 17 I originally didn't qualify, but I took Ironbug spot as the last spot.
Well, that's bizarre because
Fun fact.
Ironbug still competed anyway, but I think he got fast forwarded.
It was somebody's spot. No, I'm pretty sure he competed.
He did compete. I remember he competed, but he got fast forwarded.
But I remember he was like waiting for Ironbug to show up, and I was like, you know what, fine, we'll get this chumpy guy in here. And Atlantic champ at the time. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still feel like your first game of tag sticks with you more than Chumpy. Like, I know everyone still calls you Chumpy, but I still
wish
miss
I
the
could
days
change
of
it back.
Atlantic.
I wish I could change
Yeah.
it back.
Thanks for introducing a 12 character limit instead of the old 15 Xbox.
Yeah, fuck you, Microsoft. Anyways, with that being said, final thoughts, final words. I really should go
Yeah.
Tournament 22 Spartan Sasuke. I'll try getting that premiered in September.
I put up a thing in the
Looking forward to that.
Discord about I had a good holiday for editing. Tournament 22 editing is underway, and there'll be more stuff popping up in the Discord where I'll be asking certain people for certain things. And or if you find that like, what was it, runs to look forward to, Chumpy, even if it's like a screenshot, so you can remind me, DM it to me, because I want to remember what it looks like. I actually genuinely would consider
I'll show
hiring
you what I did for. I'll show you what I did for my 15.
I would
can do that.
genuinely consider hiring you for it. Just even if it's like for like 30 seconds of an episode of mine to use it, because it was an idea in my head that I had from forever ago that I thought would be cool.
I'll show you exactly how I did mine for 15, and we'll talk about.
I think I was going to talk about like music and like something Swan said to me earlier about people who like, I can't even remember what he said, but it's all gone now, and it's not going to matter anyway because we're about to cut. So maybe join us in a few weeks where hopefully Chumpy, let's say if we can get another one done in September, you know, then that's a thumbs up from us. Let's hope that Chumpy finds a way to make it work when he gets to college and join us.
I know how to use OBS to an extent. It's just about getting.
I don't know about how it would work if you used either Discord chat or the Xbox Game Bar.
I filmed a podcast. It was a precast for I used to do those for tournament 12 when it was supposed to be 100 competitors, and that didn't happen awkwardly. But I did that on Discord, so I just need to figure out how I did that.
I think Rog offered up his services to help.
Yeah, for sure. We can make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Podcast in a few weeks,
hopefully, yeah,
something
Bold
like
4.
I'm gonna get comfortable.
Bold 4 hopefully coming in September. And then if it works with the first attempt in September, then hopefully the Bold podcast will continue to be a semi-regular event.
Let's go.
Even when
Absolutely.
Chumpy is Xbox-less at college.
Yeah, sob story. I'm gonna start crying. It's all your fault, Hunter.
Swan was talking to me just before we came into this podcast about something about like Brits don't have a really long expiry date in jumping, and it's something to do with Americans, like they have their peaks and then they just drop off and it's way shorter, like their peaks are way shorter, and I didn't understand what he's talking about.
The countries. Yeah.
Which is
It's
a
like
perfect
how
way to
America's-
end, because Chumpy's coming to the end of his peak as of the next 7 days when he leaves for college.
Hey. Woo! Alright, I'm ending the stream. Anybody who is a jumping fan and you made it this far, damn am I impressed.